Good morning, folks. Welcome to day 3 of the HRM Summit India 2020. We've had a fabulous 2 days for the last couple of days. We've had heavyweights in HR like Mr. John Mitton, Dr. Manish Kumar. We've had Dr. Rao really talk about so many disruptive ideas. I'm so now pleased to welcome to you all to day 3. It's early in the morning where I live. It's around 10 in India, and it's very late in the night for our next speaker, Mr. Scott Friedman, who I have very warm welcome. Scott is a certified speaking professional. Just give me a couple of minutes before I could give him a proper introduction and welcome him on board. Scott is a certified speaking professional. He has written a number of books and he speaks in over 60 different events, conferences in a given year. Scott is also the president of Together We Can Change the World, and we are very proud to have his organization as a sponsor for our event. As I said in my opening statement, Together We Can Change the World does some remarkable work for the underprivileged to support and help them realize their goals. So it would be a very good organization for all of us to try and support. Leading up to this event, we did not have much time to be able to have done a lot more than what we had in terms of putting up a logo. We should have done a lot more. We did not have much time. We did not have bandwidth, but going forward, we will do our best to support such initiatives. As we learned from the gurus of HR yesterday, we all need to have a purpose, and we will try and make philanthropy and supporting each other during this very difficult time as one of our purposes. So with that, I'd like to welcome Mr. Scott. If you would like, hi Scott, welcome on board. I know it is too early or too late in the night for you. Thank you for being on board. Appreciate your enthusiasm as always. And I like what you say in your books, in your ebooks, and very practical, very actionable steps that any individual at all levels can take, from the CEO to a security, as we say, in this part of the world. So thank you so much for that. I'd like to invite you on board and take it away, Scott.
Thank you. Can you enable my screen share so I can put on my slide?
Sure. I think it is enabled already.
It says,
can you?
It says it's disabled on my end. Oh, there we go.
All right. You're okay. Okay, great.
I'm good now. Okay. Can you see that?
Okay.
If life is crazy and you know it, clap your hands.
Bravo.
Okay, I heard some clapping out there. Yeah, if you're like me, and I know I am, life is crazy right now. And depending on your circumstances, your perspective, and the stories you tell yourself will determine how much stress and anxiety you may have in your life at any given time. So tonight, will you do me a favor? Can we just take a little break from whatever we have in our lives and have a little bit of fun for a while? What do you think? 20 minutes worth? Beautiful. All right, and maybe even laugh a little bit, because laughter is good for you. It has no calories, no caffeine, no cholesterol, no MSG, no preservatives, no salt, no sodium, no sugar. It's gluten-free, paleo-friendly, and when you laugh, so much of you has a good time. So you have permission to have some fun and laugh. What do you think? Beautiful. All right. See, neuroscience reminds us that we are really put on Earth to minimize danger and to maximize reward. We are really put here to be happy, to happy dance. But then stress and anxiety and COVID-19 kick in and ruin our little happy dance. So what is the answer? What's the antidote to all this stress we may have on any given day? I think it's vitamin C. Vitamin C as in celebration. Your daily dose will make you more joyful, more grateful, more excited about everyday life. It'll help us stay in step with our community. Now, two books, my last two books, actually, one, Celebrate Lessons Learned, World's Most Admired Organizations, and followed it up with a book called The Celebrate 365 Ways to a Happier, Healthier Workplace. In the books, we define celebration as acknowledging all that is good, the good work that you do, the people that you do it with, the people that you do it for. It's when your to-do list becomes your done list. It's celebrating the little and the big milestones along the way. You see, celebration is just an attitude. It's a philosophy about life. It's the lens through which we see our world. And if you can change your lens, you can change your language, you can change your life. The way that you label your language will impact your thoughts and your behavior. Look at the difference between the word deadline and finish line. Deadline implies that there's going to be some pain involved. Finish line implies it's going to be a celebration. And as we look at the age we find ourselves in right now, with most organizations having a combination of folks working from home, their remote location, others working at the office, it's more important now to focus more than ever on outcomes, not activities. So for the finish line, if we can imagine those outcomes being accomplished, that we've hit the finish line, how would we feel when we get there? And then we celebrate those little milestones along the way. Maybe sending a care package with someone's favorite candy in it, or a nice little thank you video. But let's have some fun as we accomplish our finish lines and make remote work or working at the office more focused on accomplishing those finish lines. In the book, three things came up as we did research, surveys, and interviews in 35 different countries. And I think it will help us win in this new abnormal. Those three things are, first is gratitude. Gratitude is a thank for feeling for the life that we have and those that we share our lives with. Next is play. And play is living in the present moment. It's being able to let go of any fear or anger or trying to hold on to the past when things were better, any negative emotions. It's letting go of that and being in the state of flow or the state of play. It's positively living in the present moment. And then third is surprise. Surprise is the element of the unexpected. It's catching people doing good and creatively rewarding them. It's finding out what's highest on people's joy list and giving them a little more of that. So if you look at those three words, gratitude, play, and surprise, you take the first letter of each word. What do we come up with? GPS. So my recommendation to you is that you don't get out of bed in the morning without turning on your GPS. Sometimes it's easy, we're excited to get up. Other times, not so much. That's when we need to hear the GPS lady's voice in our mind. And what does she say to us?
Recalculating.
Sure enough.
Turn left ahead, and you will have reached your destination.
Uh-huh.
Unless you want to continue being a stupid jerk with a crappy attitude, in which case your destination will be a crappy life. Good luck with that.
Okay, so she has a little bit of an attitude, but she makes a good point. Crappy attitude? As we move forward, probably a crappy life. An attitude of gratitude, happy life. So this is really the crux of winning in the new abnormal. It's turning on your GPS. So we need emotion, an anchor, something to remind us when times get tough that we have control. Now, the universal sign for play is the old hang loose. Can you see me? Give me a little hang loose, will you? This is your new GPS mantra. In Hawaiian, it's called shaka. And shaka means you take care of me, I'll take care of you. It's relax, chill out, live life with a little bit more gratitude. Live in the moment. Honor people with what's highest on their joy list. That's the GPS mantra. I'm going to ask you a question. The answer is GPS like you really mean it. You ready? Too much stress? GPS. Did I hear you? I think I did. Life's a mess. GPS. COVID. Duress. GPS. All right, we'll play with it a little as we go along. So first is gratitude. And gratitude needs to come from the heart, not the head. Abundance flourishes in a grateful heart. I believe your single most important determinant of your future well-being is how well you practice gratitude. So how do we move from having an attitude, an attitude, to an attitude of gratitude? I think it starts with one question when we wake up in the morning. What do I have to be grateful for? So before you get into pressure or stress, just ask yourself that question. When you count your blessings, you have so many more blessings to count. And then go to bed the same way. Just write down a few things that you were grateful for during the day. It'll help you sleep better. You'll be healthier. You'll be more optimistic simply by focusing on the things that make you grateful. See, the quickest way to create a habit of happiness in your life is in every situation, every challenge you may find, ask yourself the simple question, what is the gift? If there was some silver lining in your challenges, if there was some lesson to be learned, what would it be? If you seek those out, the silver linings will show up. There's an old Buddhist prayer that states, grant that I may be given appropriate difficulties and sufferings on this journey, so that my heart may be truly awakened, and my practice of liberation and universal compassion may be truly filled. For it is felt that if we have no struggles in life, we have no opportunities for genuine growth. Anybody feel like you have too many opportunities for genuine growth? I think we have a lot of those opportunities right now. But you see, it's not happiness that makes us grateful. It's gratefulness that makes us happy. Give me a little GPS for gratitude. Thank you. Next is play. Play is simply living in the present moment. It's being able to accept your current reality, all the expectations and demands that are placed on you and you place on yourself, all of the heartache that we may have at any given time in our lives, and still be able to activate the old GPS. It's controlling our emotions. It's living in a grateful state, in the present moment, honoring people with what's highest on their joy list. Now, how many of you would say you have a pretty good sense of humor? Because play starts with a good sense of humor. How many used to have a good sense of humor? How many have never had a sense of humor, but you think there may be hope somewhere? If I wanted my dad to lose his sense of humor when I was growing up, all I would have to do is bring home my report card. Junior high, worst grades ever. He beats me to the mailbox. Dinner time, he pulls out my report card. He says, Scott, what is this? I said, Dad, it's one person's opinion. Must we discuss it? I think we must. How come Andy doesn't get C's and D's on his report card? Andy was one of my best friends growing up. I could never quite measure up. I said, Dad, you can't compare me to Andy. We're so much different. He says, oh, are you? How are you so much different? I said, Dad, Andy has very bright parents. Took me a long time before I could sit down and laugh at that. But we have opportunities to lose our sense of humor every single day, don't we? Especially now, we have more opportunities than ever. Siri, what could possibly have this predominantly wonderful group of HR folks from India, what could possibly have them lose their sense of humor? What would you think?
Fear of Zoom, Zoom fatigue, not being able to go to my Zumba class, the guy at the supermarket coughing on the last head of lettuce, COVID-19 entering the second wave before it even left the first wave, hoping some employees won't ever come back to work, trying to learn to cook and having to eat my own meals, fear of getting infected, fear of infecting others, fear of losing my mind, fear of being furloughed, running out of patience, wondering if students can go back to school safely in the fall, wondering when this will all be over, wondering what the heck the future will be like, dogs crying and kids barking in the background of my Zoom call, the speed of the internet being painfully slow, traffic getting bad again in India, coming to the realization that I married the wrong man, not knowing if I have a fever or hot flashes, feeling anxiety, feeling like an imposter of an imposter, staff doing inappropriate posting on Facebook, people violating my space, my mask not matching any of my wardrobe, wishing I could trade in my family for a new puppy.
Okay, so there's lots of opportunities every day to lose your sense of humor. That's why we need to seek out the humor. Now, I started a group in 2011 called Celebrate at Work on Facebook. And lately, in the last 6 months, 5 months since COVID started, I've turned it more into a way just to remind us that we need to laugh a little bit. I want to share a couple of my favorite with you. You can find it at facebook.com groups, Celebration at Work. 2020, written by Stephen King, directed by Quentin Tarantino. Remember to wear a mask. I've spent 2 weeks by myself and want to apologize to anyone I have ever spent time with. How many of you are, this looks familiar for your Zoom calls? Social distancing myself away from the refrigerator so I can flatten my curve. Never buy a mask at a thrift store. You know, I've been wanting to travel so bad that look what I had to do. I'm having a quarantine party this weekend. None of you are invited. The future of t-shirts. Hey, it's me, Scott, behind that mask. All right. And then some more inspirational ones. If we could spread love as quickly as we spread hate and negativity, what an amazing world we would live in. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. So look for the humor, and humor will find you. The highest form of humor is the ability to laugh at ourselves. The lowest form is making somebody else the target of a joke. But when we can laugh at ourselves, what we're saying is that we accept our flaws and our foolishness and our imperfections, and then people can't laugh at us. They have to laugh with us. Jack Welch of General Electric, when he was CEO, he said that the way they created such a great learning environment at General Electric was because he taught his workers to take their work seriously, but to take themselves lightly. Really good advice. See, 2 questions we need to ask ourselves. Number 1, have you decided you want it to be fun? I know we're in stressful times. I know people are dying. It's so sad if we let it get to us. But that doesn't mean we can't take time out to make it more fun, especially for our employees. It's more important now than ever to create a better employee experience. So how can we make it more fun for our remote workers and those that work at the office? We don't want to go through life like this little kid, right? So then the question becomes, what are we doing to make it more fun? All it takes is getting a little bit creative. There's an organization in Colorado called Design Force. They have what's called Toss It Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, Management provides a few heads of lettuce, salad dressing. Everybody brings in a couple items for a salad. They toss, well, you toss your own salad depending on what items you want in the salad. And then you know that since last Tuesday, you have to come up with one good idea to add value to the experience of your clients or the employees. How can you better the employee experience or the customer experience? Today, our version of Toss It Tuesdays, especially in the time that we find ourselves in, is to check in more, especially with our remote employees. Give people a chance to talk. Do one-on-ones. Be there to provide emotional support as well as give the resources to set people up to be successful. So what's your version of Toss It Tuesday that can involve the remote workers to give them a sense of feeling good and being part of that team? See, the best way to come up with a good idea is to come up with lots of good ideas. Have you seen The Shawshank Redemption? One of my favorite movies. Two main characters, Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins. Morgan Freeman is Red, Tim Robbins is Andy. As the movie gets on a ways, Red and Andy are having a heart-to-heart conversation in the prison yard. Red is sharing his fear of the future. He's been in prison nearly 40 years. He's up for parole for the third time, but this time it really looks like he may get out. He's complaining to Andy that he's lost all hope. Andy turns to him and he says this. He said, it all comes down to a simple choice. You either get busy living or you get busy dying. It's great advice as we approach the future, this new abnormal. We can fear it, we can ignore it, we can deny it, we can accept it, or we can anticipate it, we can imagine it. But the best way to predict the future is to create it by making good choices, learning from our choices, and making new choices. So give me a little GPS for play, for finding a way to add more humor to our lives, to live in the present moment.
This is your pilot speaking. My name is Adrian Oberhensli. I'm working from home today.
Surprise! And that's the third element, the element of the unexpected. It's to lift people up and not let them down. This is the Taj Samadra Hotel in Colombo, Sri Lanka. Had the great privilege of speaking there a few years back, and I check into my room, and what do I see? On my bedside table, a picture of me and 8 kids that have been rescued from Myanmar in terrible circumstances that now live in a home that together we can change the world, built in Wang Papao, Thailand. I'm thinking, how do they even know about Together We Can Change the World? How do you find out about anybody today? You look on Instagram or Facebook or Google them. It's amazing what we can find out about people. And that's the key to surprise, is giving people more of what intrinsically motivates them, what's highest on their joy list. When I saw this, I thought, wow, this is going to be my favorite hotel forever because of just a simple picture that they put in a frame. And that created for me the mugshot surprise. And now I love to surprise people around the world by putting a photo on a mugshot or on a mug, the mugshot, and surprising them. Done it many different ways. And it's a wonderful way to improve the employee experience and the customer experience. See, at the end of the day, the quality of life is determined by the quality of our relationships. Luciano de Crescenza said that we're all angels, but with only one wing. And only by embracing each other, we fly. Being in HR, never forget how many people you help to fly. Keep your GPS turned on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Scott. We've just got time for possibly one question. What to do if I'm celebrating and happy and people start accusing me that I'm being fake happy? How can one always celebrate?
Well, I think if people think that you're being fake happy, I mean, people are going to be all over the emotional gambit during this time. And I think that as leaders in HR, we need to model that happiness. And even if, even if sometimes we're feeling pain inside, that doesn't mean that we can't celebrate others. And that's really the key to celebration, is honoring people, is rewarding, recognizing, is to keep a positive face forward and doing everything we can. The quickest way to take the focus off of ourselves is to do something nice to serve others. And isn't that really what HR is all about? So it's not a fake happiness. It's just coming from a place of servant leadership.
Sure. Thank you so very much, Scott. I'm afraid that's all we have time for, because our good friend, Mr. Robert Garcia, is waiting on the wings.
Oh, great.
And my apologies for him to have delayed it by a few minutes. I thank you very much, Scott.
Yeah, can I make one quick offer? Just to, if anyone would like, I'm going to just share my screen for one quick second. They're free books. Anyone would like one of the following books, just send me a note at scott@scottfriedman.net on your screen right now and ask for 1, 2, or all 3 of those books. I will send you free the electronic copies just for attending the HRM Summit in India. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much, Scott.
Hmm.